Alright guys, we're gonna review Hitman 3 VR specifically. Something really cool that I'm gonna show you right here right now is that you could actually play Hitman 2 and Hitman 1 in VR, which is amazing. I'm gonna play the whole thing, make it a series. So yeah, we are gonna test this in PlayStation 4 Pro. So just for those people that care, let's get into it. Okay, one thing I will say, for better or worse, there's a box that shows up around you. As you can see right here, there's a box that appears in the VR mode around you, a grid that's basically telling you that you're outside of the centering. If you are centered, if you're perfectly centered in where you're supposed to be, the grid does disappear. But in VR, it's very hard to stay in place or be looking in the right direction, so you're gonna end up with this grid a lot of the time. We'll say right now, for those people that thought you could play Hitman VR with the Move remote, well, that's not true. You have to play Hitman with the actual controller. There's no going around it. In the menu, you do have the option to make your left hand follow your right hand, as you can see right here. Follow your right hand around. Most of the time, you will have that. Most of the time, your left hand will be following your right hand. But you could go into the options and disable it. Therefore, you could, if you want, you could just have the one hand, which I think is more immersive than just have your left hand just walking around doing this all the time. It really kicks out of the immersion. Okay, another thing I will say is that by the remote being the main controller, you could move your remote around and your hand is gonna simulate what that, but it's not gonna be as precise as the move controllers. And the fact that you can't really see when you move your left hand or react, it's one of the things I consider a downside. But it works, the right hand at least works perfectly fine. You hold the R2 button to hold a fist, or basically when you want to engage with somebody. Like, now that not only felt good, it was intuitive, it was just fine. Oh, and I'm too far. Excellent. Another thing is, you could interact with stuff by pressing the triangle, or you could actually hit it with your hand. Here we have another interaction. So obviously you pick up stuff with the R1, and you could hold R2, and now it becomes useful as a weapon. If you try to hit somebody without holding R2, you'll just, like, nothing will happen. You could try as hard as you want, nothing will happen. You have to hold R2. You have to hold R2 for the situation to go like you want it. Now another thing is this circle right here, that it's basically below our face. As soon as we look down, there's a lot of interactions you'll want to do. Like, for example, I could drop this. There's a lot of interactions you'll want to do like, I want to grab that, and that circle will get in the way. Especially when you want to pick up a body or something. You could drag bodies with the R1. And by pressing the R1, a lot of things they don't happen by themselves. There's an animation or a cut and it just happens like that. I'm guessing that's for your own. Uh, uh, there we go. And so the circle right here is basically your inventory. You place items in. You could release them towards the floor, or you could release them inside the circle, and it goes into your inventory. You could grab it back by pressing the R1 and take it out from your inventory. So this is basically, this circle is basically your inventory. You're basically putting stuff in your pockets and picking them out. On a good note, the graphics, the VR details, as you can see in this sword, look at the handle of this sword. The graphics really hold up to VR really well. They look amazing. You could really see the sharpness of the blade. You could really see the details, even in Agent 47's glove right here. Though the suit itself looks kind of rubbery. Everything pretty much has an amazing and beautiful amount of detail. Look at these. Look at these bolts right here. They look. It looks amazing. The game really is beautiful to a point where you could get really close up. Well, enough close, I guess. Kind of looks blurry when you get really, really close up, but it does hold up really, really well for a VR game, especially the weapons. Now let's go take care of this guy. Now in true Hitman fashion, you could sneak up on people, and in the actual game I really didn't know this, but you could sneak up on people, and apparently this is gonna pop out. We will put that to the test, but this is gonna pop out, and you just hold R2 and it will choke them. Ugh. Now, one thing I did have a hard time with was figuring out how the fiber wire works. You grab it right here. Now, this little thing is a classic Hitman. Classic Hitman. And if you could tell, the left arm, when the left arm is needed, even though I turned it off, when the left arm is needed, it does pop out by itself, which is really useful. The animations are pretty nice. Makes everything look more professional. Now, like I was saying, I was having problems in how to do this because I constantly was putting it over the people's head and trying to choke. Okay, so I was putting it over the people's head and trying to choke them, and it didn't work. It constantly didn't work. It kept going through them. So the way you have to do it is you put it over their head and you actually pull back with force, and that's how you choke them. Though I didn't do it there, the tutorial kind of messed up, didn't it? Let me choke him without the force. But you're really supposed to pull it back with force. And I was playing the whole first level, I was playing without that knowledge, and I was so confused. Like I said, you could either press or you could just hit it to interact with stuff. Now here we have the weapons. The weapons, beautiful, beautifully crafted. Beautifully crafted weapons right here. The amount of detail, and they really look good. The details with the VR really, really look good. This is definitely new technology. Now you could aim the weapon like the traditional, using your eyeballs and the three dots, but I'll tell you what, since we're using the actual controller instead of the move controllers, that seems to be more harder than you think. It's not at steady, and it's, as you can see, it's kind of like shaking around and stuff, and it's not easy to actually hit stuff, I'll tell you that. But they did make a they did make a thing to help out, which is really useful, which is that if you hold the R2 slightly before you actually press the trigger fully, a laser comes out, which is 100% quality of life item and item here. Super good. Super good, because you could just press the laser and know exactly where you're hitting without having to aim. That's super useful because the aim is kind of janky and wobbly. Now another thing is the reload. My arm, the reload, you just press the square like any other button, and the reload is automatic. Makes it look smooth, professional. It gets the job done. It's good. But like I said, the fact that we have a laser, it's so useful. That really helps. Actually, let's put this in our inventory. That really helps out. Now here we have another weapon. Our left hand comes out automatically to make it, to hold it steady and make it look more realistic, except when it clips through like that. So there are some issues with the, I'm telling you that there are some issues with the fact that you're using a controller instead of a move remote, the move remotes. But the details, like I said, the details they put on the weapons themselves and a lot of the world around, it's just amazing. I could look at this and it's just incredible how it looks. Now this also has the laser feature, which I could actually hold the gun down here. Super useful for me to and slightly press the trigger so I could see the laser and know where the hell I'm shooting, you know? Life quality right there, life quality. The reload animation, laser it in and shoot. Excellent. Super helpful. I will definitely use that a lot instead of actually trying to aim. Though even though you could aim, the sights do work. I don't know if you guys could see it, but the sights do work and they look pretty amazing. But to actually keep it steady and correct is not as easy, and especially when you're playing the missions, that's not going to be quick enough. So laser, it's going to be for most of the situations. No doubt about that. Now another thing is the inventory. Like I said, you put your items in here. Now you could look at your items by pressing the arrow keys to the sides, and therefore you could switch items around like traditional Hitman style, and you choose the item you want and you pull it out. You could put it back in, switch to the other item, whatever item you have, take it out. So the inventory is quite useful. The only thing is that it's annoying that it's kind of in the way of a lot of stuff. Oh look, I dropped the magazine on the floor. Could I grab them? It doesn't seem like empty magazines right there. So yeah, really good detail. Really good detail. Okay, now this is the part of the tutorial where we use the sniper. And here, it's where a little bit of the problem starts showing up. The sniper does not have the laser function. Like, I try to pull out the laser, the sniper does not, and I repeat, does not have the laser function. And at least in all my testing, I have not been able to. So it doesn't have the laser. You have to pull the sniper scope to your face like you would, and a screen comes out, which is not VR, it's a flat screen where you aim and you shoot the enemy. It's not as immersive, but it gets the job done. Now it is a little janky as well. It's one of those things. I am getting the shots down. It's not terrible. And for a sniper, this is as good as it gets, like, to simulate the scope. But as you can see right now, I'm really trying to aim it where the guy is. and it's slow. It's gonna really, I know for a fact that it's gonna become an issue, especially when you're on missions and your life depends on it. Time is of the essence. Having to do that, it's I can't wait. Let's see when it happens that I have to rely on a sniper. That I have to rely on a sniper and have to do all that. To me, that is one of the downsides. It would have been super useful for them to include the laser. Though I could still shoot, there's no way in hell I will know where I'm shooting without the laser. So I have to use the scope. Not too happy about that. Now, they do have a VR menu. They do have a VR menu like usual VR games where you could fix if your experience in VR, your moving, and I'll tell you what, I haven't gotten dizzy. I usually use the teleporting feature because moving around makes me dizzy. And I played like at least 2 hours and I didn't get dizzy at all. I'm guessing it's because of the slow pace Agent 47 moves in. He moves at a very slow pace, but it's immersive. It doesn't make me dizzy. It's good. It's not bad. But you could fix the turning around. You could make it smooth or snap. Turning around has always been something that really makes people dizzy. That's the main thing. The moving sideways in a VR world makes you dizzy. You could put the snap, change it. Now I will tell you what I think from my VR experience. I played quite a lot of VR, many hours and different games. You to really enjoy this game in VR, you have to have some experience. That's my opinion. You have to have a decent amount of experience in VR. At least already be comfortable with some of the fundamentals to really enjoy the VR mode. Because a new person coming into VR in this game, I feel like not only are they gonna have more problems than usual, it's not gonna be as enjoyable. It's not gonna be intuitive like it is for me. Like all this controller using and everything, it's not a big deal for me. It's a little bit troubling, but it's not a big deal. But I would say at least intermediate VR experience to really enjoy it. But yeah, guys, if you liked this review and it was helpful in any way, please leave a like. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.